Hi, you're listening to Popped, a new podcast where we talk about something in pop culture that has a significant but less obvious cultural impact. And today we're going to be talking about streaming services, both online and online editions. So, I'm Valentina Herrera.
I'm Isabel Mencia.
I'm Samantha Stone.
And I'm Kirsten Clark.
And we are Popped. We have separated the streaming services into major segments. Our first one is going to be the big three online services, and that's Amazon Prime, Hulu, and Netflix. Then we'll talk about user-generated streaming services like YouTube Red and Vimeo. First, we're going to talk about the big three online services, and I'm going to start with Netflix. So Netflix, we think of Netflix as just a streaming service, but it actually started in 1997 as a DVD rental service. And subscribers could either pay for just individual DVDs or have a set rate, a monthly subscription rate, which is now their model. And so for some time, they only did DVDs, and in 2000, Netflix tried to offer themselves up to Blockbuster to be their to be part of Blockbuster.com. So Netflix would be the website part of Blockbuster's DVD rental service, and they offered themselves up for $50 million, 50, and Blockbuster said no. And look where Blockbuster is, and look where Netflix is. 2006 is when Netflix started their offering original content, and they actually offered themselves as a distributing service for some independent films, and were the exclusive service for many independent film companies. And that is how they started, with just DVDs, and now that's what they still do with streaming. Netflix had their first original TV show in 2011 with House of Cards. Netflix decided to start broadening out into the online streaming world and decided, hey, we should have some original content. So they started talking to people, and House of Cards was their first big deal that they made for the original content, and they went from there. House of Cards premiered in 2012 and won multiple Emmys that year. They were nominated for multiple Emmys, and they won one for Best Actor. And then now Netflix has been a staple at multiple Emmy Awards, Golden Globes. Every TV award show, Netflix is constantly being nominated and winning with their original content like House of Cards, Orange is the New Black, Lady Dynamite, BoJack Horseman, Arrested Development, which was a show originally on Fox, and Netflix brought it back for a season. And since then, Netflix has continued to add new original content every year. And now, in August, they premiered The Get Down, which was their most expensive show to date, but it didn't have that many. But The Get Down was not talked about as much as Netflix's other summer hit, Stranger Things, which has already been greenlit for a season 2. So guys, Netflix has had a long history, longer than I thought, for a while. And so what do you guys think about that? They have multiple exclusive deals with companies, and it's the go-to service for a lot of college students.
I actually used to get the DVDs through the mail. It was a huge thing for me. I would get one probably every week and just watch it, so I actually really enjoyed that. And then when they stopped doing that, I was kind of sad. But I think the streaming part of it obviously has made up for it. And I think it's interesting how it changed, because I remember when they actually wanted to do video games, and that was probably for a week. They said they would do video games.
Yeah, they said that they were going to start a service called Quickster, and they decided not to go with that because it didn't make sense for them, apparently.
Yeah, I felt like that would have maybe taken off, but I think Redbox took that over basically, because they have video games now. But it's definitely interesting how it went from DVDs to strictly streaming, and because it used to be all DVDs and then some things you could stream, but most you couldn't. The thing I liked about DVDs, you could keep them as long as you wanted, and they even had a deal, I think, where you could get 7 at a time, which is kind of crazy. But I think it was cool, but also obviously what they're doing now is just going with the times. They have to evolve with the technology.
Well, they do have some DVDs available. You can have a DVD rental plan. It's just not, it's offered as a separate plan. So now they have a $7.99 monthly rate for DVDs only, which used to be just a like $2 or $3 add-on to your normal Netflix subscription. But their DVD rental service has declined a bit.
So I'm assuming all of us watch Netflix pretty regularly. I think it's a huge staple in people's lives these days.
Definitely.
Such a huge culture point. For me with Netflix, is one of the downsides is that it's not watching it live, obviously, so the interaction you can get with other people isn't really there. You know, a lot of people like live tweeting shows, stuff like, or election debates or award shows. But with Netflix, you're just kind of, unless you guys both plan it, which is a lot of times what people do, they both watch at the same time. But otherwise, it's you're kind of missing out on the interaction with other people.
Yeah, or have Netflix watch parties.
Right. Whole series at once.
Yeah. I've had a Netflix watch party for Bo Burnham's comedy special that came out over the summer.
That's great. That's awesome.
I feel like with DVDs, like when you rented one, it was like an event. It was like, you know, it's like, I remember like my family and I would go to Blockbuster and it's like, okay, you know, my mom would get a DVD for her, like I would get a DVD, my brother would get a DVD, and then like we go and like watch it. You know, it's like, it was like an event. Like even now, like my mom doesn't really do Netflix. She goes to the Redbox, gets a DVD. She's like, tonight I'm going to stay in and watch a movie. Oh my God, you know, like a night in. And
I think for older people too, it's like hard for them to get away from the physical DVDs.
Yeah. Yeah, like I feel like it's like with a DVD, it's just like, that's all you have, like the DVD, and it becomes more of like an experience to watch this one movie. But then like with Netflix, you have like thousands of movies and shows. You can just keep watching and watching and watching in that aspect. So I don't know. I feel like DVDs, like when they were a bit more relevant than they are now, like had like kind of like a special quality to it. Not quality, but like a special like magic to it in a sense that like I feel like Netflix kind of lacks, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There's also the Netflix selection process, which is a huge deal. Like, and everyone knows that too. It's like, you know you're going to watch something on Netflix, but you don't know what it is before you get there most of the time. So it's a whole event just choosing, and it could take so long.
It usually takes longer than watching the actual thing.
Yeah.
All right. So are we ready to move on to Hulu?
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So Hulu is, if you haven't heard of it, you've definitely heard of some of the networks encompassed in it, because it's got Disney, ABC, A&E, AMC, ANO, CBS, Discovery, 21st Century Fox, NBC Universal, Time Warner, Viacom, Ion, Stars, Azteca, I think I'm saying that right, and PBS, and if you pay extra, you can get Showtime. So, and that's not even all of them. It's got a whole bunch of networks that have contracts with Hulu, and it's mostly TV shows, you know, not a lot of movies on Hulu, and there is some original content. Hulu was founded in 2006, and the subscription service Hulu Plus was launched on November 17th of 2010. And Hulu Plus still has ads, which is an interesting part. It's a subscription service that you pay for. It's $7.99 a month, and you can pay $4 extra. So for $11.99 a month, you can have the no commercials plan. So that's probably one of the things that sets it apart from streaming services like its competitors the most, is that there's still ads. You know, Netflix doesn't have ads. I don't believe Amazon Prime has ads. But, you know, if you want to pay $4 more a month, you don't have ads. And so its first original content was a show called The Morning After, and that was in January of 2011. And that was a pop culture news show. Look at that. Just like us. Maybe, I don't know. It probably wasn't. It was a web series. So the first scripted series was a show called Battleground, and that was a year later in January 2012. And then a reality series called The Fashion Fund followed shortly after. And then after those, Hulu announced another 7 original shows. And I didn't know this, but in 2014, Hulu got the streaming rights to South Park, which they still have. So they stream South Park, and that's fun. And what I heard about Hulu, it came really into the light for me in 2015 when Fox canceled the Mindy Project. And Hulu picked it up and kind of brought it back to life. I think it was less than a week later that Hulu announced it was going to pick it up. And since then, Hulu's been airing the Mindy Project. So it kind of resurrected that in the same vein, not in the same vein, in a different vein that Netflix took back Arrested Development, which was canceled years before Netflix brought it back. So it's cool how streaming services can have that power. And Hulu premiered the comedy series Difficult People. Don't know if you guys know what that is. Amy Poehler executive produces it. And Julie Krausner?
Oh, yes, Julie Klausner.
Klausner, okay. And Billy Eichner in it. It's a wonderful show. I should know her name, and I don't.
It's hilarious.
And that's a Hulu exclusive, and that started in 2015. It's still currently on streaming on Hulu. Watch it. It's amazing. And Hulu's available in Japan. They planned to launch it in the UK and Ireland, but that didn't end up happening. And it's not available in Canada because there's different rules with Canadian advertisements, and most Canadian streaming is just owned by the individual networks in Canada, not like how we have just a ton of networks here that all use Hulu. And it is the cheapest streaming service out there if you take the $7.99 option. But again, that's not by a lot as compared to other streaming services. And I guess the biggest pro of Hulu is that while other streaming services can take months to get entire seasons of shows, Hulu releases the latest episodes of a lot of current shows, the day after. So if you're looking to get, caught up on a show really quickly, Hulu might be your answer. So, I don't know, what do you guys think? How does it compare? We know a lot about Netflix now. Now we got Hulu in the picture.
I mean, I am a total TV addict, so I have all three.
Me too.
I have Netflix, Hulu, and Amazon Prime, and I know my wallet is telling me every month, cancel one of them.
Just one.
Yeah, but I can't, and I have Hulu with no ads because...
Oh, I have it with ads, I'll admit.
I just can't. Like, if I'm going to watch something online, I expect no ads.
Yeah.
But
personally, for some reason, I don't know why, I just look at Hulu as like lower than, say, Netflix or Amazon Prime, and it might be because of the layout I'm not really fond of. I haven't been on it in a little bit, but I think it's a little harder to search for shows, and just the ad portion, obviously, like $11.99 in my opinion is a lot more just for no ads. So I've kind of always strayed away from it, even though the shows are on there right away. I always try and instead go to the actual websites instead of Hulu. Just, I don't know, something about it I'm not a fan of.
Yeah, I know. I remember when Hulu had offered next day releases for free.
Yeah.
And I was like, that was amazing. Those were the days, man, when you didn't have to worry about a DVR or watching something live, and you just could go online and find it for free with no ads. It was great. And then they had Hulu Plus, and my whole world started to end.
I think it's that was more of a website you go to and like, oh yeah, that show I missed, I'm gonna go there and look at it. And now it's trying to make it into a subscription as to where you go instead of Netflix. You go there for everything, not just for like the show you missed.
Mm-hmm. I know, Sam, you mentioned that they didn't have a lot of movies, but they do have a lot of Criterion Collection movies.
Yes.
And so when I'm like craving a Katharine Hepburn movie, that's where I go. Or like something old, and just having a night where I just want to pretend that I'm in 1945. And I go to Hulu and watch a movie on there. But I mean, one thing that I do like a lot is that they have the next day services still. But I've heard that they're taking away of that. They're taking that away. I mean, that I've heard that. I haven't researched it at all. I heard it a while ago, so they might have made the decision not to do it, but...
It seems kind of crazy to me they even have that option. How did they get permission to just get shows the next day? Like, I think that's pretty impressive that they can get a lot of shows the next day when other streaming services can't.
It would make sense that they're losing it, though, considering they have, contracts with places like Disney, ABC, and NBC, Universal, which I know they all have apps now. That's how I watch things the next day, mostly, to be honest. I'll, go on the NBC app, which they always have it. So it would make sense that the networks are favoring their own apps instead of streaming services like Hulu for next day.
Yeah. I mean, if they get rid of next day watching completely, I might cancel my Hulu subscription, or at least lower it to the $7.99.
Gotta watch Difficult People.
Yeah, I mean, Difficult People and the Mindy Project, those are my main two, but I don't know if I can keep paying $11.99 if I'm not going to watch stuff the next day anymore.
I mean, do you feel... I feel like the next day episode thing is like one of their staples. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I feel like if they took that away, that'd like really like be bad for them. I feel like a lot of people would like stop subscribing to them if they use Hulu for those shows to watch it the next day.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, are we good for Hulu? Any last words on Hulu? Okay.
No.
All right, Kirsten,
All
take
right.
it away.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about Amazon Prime streaming service, if you knew they had one or not. But it's called Prime Video. It started in 2006. And there's two ways you can get it. If you have just an Amazon Prime account, it automatically comes with it. Amazon Prime is $100 a year or $50 a year for students, which is a really nice discount. But they started doing an actual separate package of just the Prime Video, which is $8.99 a month, which is kind of in the realm of Netflix, but $1 more than Hulu. One of the pros of Prime Video is that you can download certain TV shows and movies to watch offline on mobile devices, so you don't have to connect to Wi-Fi. There's this thing, some reason you can't download anything to Mac computers, but you can to iPhones and other Apple products, which I found was really strange, but it's a thing. And something that's kind of interesting is they actually stopped selling Chromecast and Apple TV on Amazon because they did not support Prime Video. So they just banned it from selling on their website altogether because,
Wow.
right? I think it was a little. I mean, they said they
Harsh.
didn't want customers to get confused and buy these products and expect Prime Video on it, which I kind of understand. But yeah, they just slashed it. One of the cons of Prime Video is that while you can watch a bunch of content instantly, they do have a really good movie selection. There's still quite a lot that you have to rent or buy outside of your subscription. So they have a rent or buy tab, and then that's all the other movies and shows that you can pay extra for. So their whole library is not all that you can stream, which makes sense because Amazon obviously sells pretty much every movie out there. But again, it's still kind of a tricky downside. I feel like a lot of customers wouldn't realize some of the stuff they want to watch they actually have to pay extra for. Something that's kind of funny too is they have a tab for Amazon Prime exclusives. So they basically are kind of hinting at things they have that Netflix doesn't have or Hulu doesn't have. An example of this is the popular show Mr. Robot. They have exclusive rights to stream Mr. Robot, and on Netflix though you can still get it through the mail, the DVD. If you really wanted it that bad, you could get it through the mail, but they have it to stream. Downton Abbey is on Prime Video, and their most famous show is Transparent. So Transparent is just one of their original shows. It's about a family with a dad who discovers that he says he's transgender, and it actually had a big cultural impact because it's the first streaming show to ever win a Golden Globe for Best Series, and it has 5 Emmys. So I think that's a really cool point, is that a streaming show to win a Golden Globe is a huge step forward for streaming shows in general. It shows that they're on the same level, if not higher than some TV shows out there, and that they can compete just the same. And the show Transparent has gotten really, really good reviews, and it's continued to get reviews throughout the process of its 3rd season. And the creator herself talks about how it's more than a show, but more like of trans rights. You know, like shows like this you don't really normally see on TV, and I think it's really cool that a streaming service, they have less people to upset, I guess, or they have less qualifications they have to meet, so they can put out shows that are a little more controversial on important topics and not get, FCC regulated or anything like that. And its critical acclamation proves that streaming sites are a real platform that can compete. So what do you guys think, Amazon Prime? Have you guys tried it? Do you guys know about it?
Like I said before, I also have Amazon Prime.
Me too. I love it.
Yeah, I have not used Prime as much as Netflix and Hulu, but I have seen some things on there.
I think I almost forget about it. Because I love Amazon Prime itself, just the 2-day shipping thing. But I forget that there's a whole streaming service attached to it.
Yeah, you mentioned that they don't support or Chromecast doesn't support Prime, and I think that's probably why I don't watch Prime stuff as much as Netflix and Hulu, because usually I end up just using Chromecast to like watch stuff, and that way I can do stuff on my computer or phone too,
Right.
and don't have to figure out the two Windows things and stuff, and so it works out. But with Prime, I can't. I have to actually use an HDMI cord and like plug it into my computer, and it's
Not worth it.
Yeah, I have to be closer to the TV. It's just more of a hassle. But, yeah.
And I think Prime kind of focuses more on movies than somewhere like Netflix does. Just looking at their movies, they have a lot of just older pop culture kind of movies that are really popular, and I think that's really a cool part of it.
Yeah, a lot of the classics.
Right.
And Amazon Studios in general is making some cool movies lately. Like I saw Elvis and Nixon. And that wasn't a streaming thing, obviously, but it just goes to show how Amazon's really breaking into the industry of generally film.
Yeah. And Amazon Studios has a thing, not to take away from you, Kirsten, but they do their pilot season very differently than normal TV. And like things with Netflix and Hulu and other streaming services, they just pile all their stuff on in one lump sum on one day. But Amazon has been doing a different pilot season where they will make a few pilots, and if you don't know what a pilot is, that's the first episode of a TV show, and they'll put all their pilots online on Prime, and you can watch the pilots, and the ones that get the most or not just the most but the best feedback from like viewers are the ones that will get full season orders.
That's wow. I actually did not know that. I think that's
So,
that's
yeah.
crazy. I think that's really cool for viewers themselves. They feel like they're more in control, and they get to see actually what they really want to see.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think my uncle told me about that, and he was like really like annoyed because he's like, I like this one show, but they didn't get approved, so
No. It's disappointing when like your favorite pilot doesn't get picked
yeah.
up.
I think it's interesting how every company out there just they're like, oh, streaming, all right, I have to dive into that. So everyone's just diving into it, and instead it's just funny. It could possibly be like this huge one streaming that has a lot more content, but instead everyone's doing their own with their own content and stuff like that. So it's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen Mozart in the Jungle?
Yes.
I haven't.
That's an Amazon Prime one. That's the two Amazon Prime shows I know are Transparent and Mozart in the Jungle. It's a good one. I know the lead actor, he won something. It might have been a SAG award. I'm not remembering what it is.
Some award.
I think it was a Golden Globe.
Maybe. It was the year that someone beat Jeffrey Tambor or something. This is all very vague.
Yeah.
And I could be wrong.
That's one thing that annoys me a lot about Transparent, that every year at the Emmys, Jeffrey Tambor has won the Best Actor in a Comedy Award for like 3 years in a row, 2 years in a row, 3 years. And like he wins the Golden Globe too and the SAG Award, and I'm just like, come on, because there's some like actors that I really like from other shows that are nominated and they don't get it, and it's like, we all know that you're amazing, Jeffrey Tambor. Come on.
I think that's funny when one actor just goes everywhere and wins everything. It's like, I mean, it's great for that one show, but even I remember when Modern Family, they started winning everything. And it was like,
Oh my
this is
God,
kind
yes.
this is a lot.
They
It
won
was
like
yeah.
in what, like 5-6 years in a row.
It was excessive. I'm just like, okay, like enough.
Yeah, people noticed
know.
too on Twitter. They're like, I mean, it's a good show, but is this necessary?
Especially with Transparent, because then it's like the arguments there, like, is this a comedy? Is this a drama?
Right.
But then you could throw it into like the category with Game of Thrones or something. It's a totally different league.
Definitely. Game of Thrones is another one that monopolizes the awards.
Now, not before.
Yeah.
Only in the last couple years, because I remember they only recently like started getting nominated a few years after they actually started, and they started winning after that. So
I think when things start ending, people start realizing, and then they get every award.
yeah.
Breaking Bad, it's right at the end. It just did everything.
Just like, oh no, you're okay. Like you're ending. Okay, we'll give you the award finally.
Except Jeffrey Tambor, he'll win that until Transparent's off the
My goodness.
Amazon Prime.
I remember this year I was really upset for the Best Actor award because I wanted someone to win, and Jeffrey Tambor won, and I was like, well, even before I was like, "Ugh, well, it's not even worth like rooting for this person just because we all know that Jeffrey Tambor is going to win.
One year, Aziz Ansari held up a sign when he was nominated for Modern Romance, like this, or it was a book, and it said "Losing to Jeffrey Tambor with Grace" or something.
That's beautiful.
Except Rami Malek won. I don't know why I know this selective trivia, but I don't know what I was trying to talk about a couple minutes ago.
Don't worry, that's
Who
how I am
knows?
90% of the time. I don't know basic math functions, but I know everything there is to know about Netflix.
It's like, oh, who won the Golden Globe in 1999? Well, let me tell you.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was probably Friends. I don't know.
Man, you're supposed to know
Possibly.
after you said that, man.
I know.
All right, do you guys want to do user generated?
Yeah, let's do it.
My turn. All right. All right. Starting off with the YouTube Red paid streaming and subscription service that is currently $10 a month. It's, as far as I know, it's only available in U.S., Australia, Mexico, and New Zealand. It originally launched November 2014, and it offered just ad-free streaming of music and music videos, and then they revised and relaunched it in late October of 2015, giving just all videos ad-free. They have offline viewing. You could download with YouTube Red, you could download videos and watch them offline, and you can also listen to videos with the screen off and listen to videos while you're in a different app as well. And then they also have original shows and movies from YouTubers such as Scare PewDiePie, A Trip to Unicorn Island with Superwoman, Dance Cap made by Awesome TV, Dan and Phil, The Amazing Tour is Not on Fire, and Escape the Night from Joey Graceffa. So, yeah, YouTube Red. Do you want me to talk about Vimeo or just
Well, let's
start with
talk about YouTube Red first.
Because
'Cause I didn't know that you could download videos on YouTube Red.
apparently,
Now,
yeah.
can you download only videos from YouTube Red, or can you download regular YouTube videos too?
I think it's regular YouTube videos because I don't see why.
I mean, I'd
YouTube Red.
assume that would
amazing.
be just red. Only, I don't know, but only because they're created intentionally, and I think regular videos might be a little
Yeah.
a little strange. But I mean, I don't know. That's really interesting. You would download one of those.
Yeah.
I know I used to watch. This is very trivial, but I used to watch. His name was Shay Carl. He does the Shaytards. It's
Oh yeah.
But he introduced that he was going to do a YouTube video like 2 years ago, and he asked everyone, all of his fans, basically to give him money for it on Kickstarter, and he never really got around to it. So everyone was kind of mad because they just gave money for no reason. And then sometime this week he introduced that the movie was made, but it's only going to be on YouTube Red, and a lot of people were angry because it wasn't available in their country, or they had to pay for YouTube Red, which they don't already have. So
Yeah.
obviously it's kind of creating this divide on YouTube between free videos and something you have to subscribe for.
Yeah, definitely. YouTube Red is the one that I'm not sure that I'll get, just because, I mean, firstly, I'm paying too much for TV already. But I don't know, there's just certain things that it doesn't interest me as much as like watching regular YouTube. I mean, I already go, just watching YouTube is dangerous because I'll just go and watch YouTube videos, stupid videos for hours on end.
Me, definitely.
I think it's funny too because these YouTubers are now turning into actors, non-officially, but actors in these shows, and they're getting paid for it and they're acting, and it's just a funny again divide between like who's real actors. Are they really acting? Do they, how does it compare to TV? Because YouTube, I think its whole message from the beginning was that they wanted to kind of be a second option to television, and they're finally kind of getting there. YouTube was known for user generated, and with YouTube Red, you can't just upload to it. You have to watch what they have on there, and again, they're producing it themselves, so it's changed into a separate. What am I saying? It changed into a separate section where people are acting, and you can't do it yourself.
Definitely. I mean, I know a lot of actors will start a YouTube channel and or actor creators, and like that will be their first, that will be their side thing while they're still auditioning for not actual things, but like more established things like for TV shows and movies, not YouTube related. And I also know that a lot of people will independently make things, raise money for it, like on Kickstarter or something else, and then put stuff on YouTube. But I know that is also used for Vimeo.
Yes.
Segue.
Segue.
Intentional.
Vimeo, video sharing website like YouTube. You can upload, share, and view videos on there. It was launched in December of 2004, and it was the first video sharing site to support HD video. Community includes a lot of indie filmmakers and their fans. The White House uses it. They upload HD videos on there. They just started using 4K video. Vimeo, I mean, not the White House. They have a whole, like, many different plans, ranging from having 25 gigabytes a year for free, up to 5 terabytes of space for $600 a year.
Oh.
So yeah, they have
my God.
a lot of plans. You can pay it monthly. The basic and plus have basic plus and pro have a weekly limits on how much data you can use. But yeah, you get the picture. But a new thing now with Vimeo, they now have a TV store, kind of like iTunes, where you can buy videos. Like they have a partnership with Lionsgate and Starz, and they have shows like Orange is the New Black, Mad Men, Nurse Jackie, Weeds, and Boss, among other shows, where you can go and just buy them and watch them. So that's a new thing. Instead of being like a, video sharing thing for everyone, now they have like kind of like a store where you can buy TV shows.
And you said that those, you can download those?
Yes, I think you can download those.
I didn't know that.
As far as I know, yeah.
That's crazy to me. I feel like Vimeo, I don't know, like we all know it is not a place to buy TV shows, so I think that's really crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it makes you wonder how much money they're actually making off of it.
Oh, it's $600 for that one option.
Yeah, I think, how many terabytes was that?
5 for $600 a year with no weekly limit.
Wow, if you're
It's like a business, like.
Yeah, if you're making 5 terabytes of content a year, you can afford $600.
I think it shows that Vimeo is trying to be the professional website. You put your professional videos, nothing, no cat videos or anything.
Definitely. I mean, I know the hipster that I am, I watch a lot of indie movies and follow a lot of like short film projects and stuff, and a lot of those will be on Vimeo, and so sometimes I won't be able to watch them, but sometimes I am, and it's just better when I am.
I have watched a few short kind of movies, documentaries on there, and it's really, I like it a lot because it's, Netflix, you have documentaries, but they're very established and they're very production, but these are kind of people have made them, but they also still look really good, and they're about topics that you kind of wouldn't find anywhere else, so I really enjoyed it.
Definitely.
I mean, whenever I ended up using Vimeo, I never like go on Vimeo to look anything. I'm just like on Tumblr or something. They're like, look at this video, and it's like, oh, okay, link to Vimeo.
It's on Vimeo, right?
Yeah, like, I mean, today that new trailer for this Pixar short. What was it called?
With the guy on the
like the Cowboys.
Yes.
I forgot which. I watched that on Vimeo, and I'm just like, oh, okay, like things like that get put up on Vimeo.
That's true. You don't really go to it, but you're linked to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I know one thing that I saw on Vimeo a few months ago was, Amandla Stenberg
Yes.
from Hunger Games.
Yes.
She apparently is a student at NYU.
She's that old now?
Yeah, she's like 18.
Wait,
and
who?
Amandla Stenberg.
What role
An
did she
actress.
play?
She was Rue
She was
in
Rue?
Hunger Games.
Yeah.
My God.
Yeah,
The
and,
first one.
I did not know that was her.
Yeah.
Wait.
and
what?
she uploaded her NYU like audition film, like her and her application film to Vimeo, and that's how I saw it, and it was pretty good. It was like 10 minutes, but it was good.
I'm curious if you can, on YouTube you can private your links and stuff like that. I'm curious on Vimeo if you could do the same thing, because it's like I don't know nothing about that, but if she just wanted it for the application, and then now it's open for everyone to see.
Oh, I don't know. That's true. I mean, I saw it because I was linked to it, like you said before.
Right.
So
So how do we think they compare briefly, YouTube Red and Vimeo? I know YouTube Red's a lot newer, but in terms of content, do you think any overlapping or they're totally different?
Totally different, I feel. I mean, it's like two completely different, almost like maybe audiences, but like content that's on there and like who it's for.
Mm-hmm.
In a sense, you got Vimeo with like documentaries and like indie films and like random videos that are like, I don't know what they're there, but they're random videos. And then YouTube Red is like, I feel like YouTube Red is very much for like the YouTube community that's already there. Like it's not like some random person's like, oh, I'm gonna go get YouTube Red. Like it's like people who've been on YouTube forever and they're fans of like these big YouTubers and they watch them and they love their content and they invest in the monthly subscription for that. And then there's also YouTube Music, because I got the free trial when I got YouTube Music, and it was great because I could just like pull up whatever song I wanted, turn off my phone, and I didn't have to have the video on. So like that's also another aspect.
Yes,
that you can,
really cool.
You get the subscription for the YouTube Music app.
Yeah, definitely a battery saver.
I just hate when I'm listening to a song on YouTube and I close out of it and it stops.
Yes, I hate that. And then when I had that free 2-week subscription, I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. And then it went away. I was like, no, but I don't want to pay $10 a month.
That's what they do. But I feel like YouTube Red was created solely because YouTube saw that their big content makers or content. What do they call themselves? Content creators.
Yeah, content creators.
The big content creators were going elsewhere to make stuff, to make long form stuff, and YouTube was like, "Oh, well, we got to keep them in house," and so they created YouTube Red specifically for that. Like you said, PewDiePie has something in Superwoman, and
yes, PewDiePie was like a show where they pretty much just scare him. Based on like video, like video games. He plays scary video games, and like, I mean, that's not all he does, but that's one of the things he does, and like records it. And then they pretty much just get him and put him like in a real like scary, not like a real scary situation, but like haunted hospital. And they have like actors like playing crazy people, and they put him in there, and
wow, and he subjects himself to that.
Yep.
He's
put like a GoPro on him, and they put him in there. I mean, it's all like, it's not like real crazy people, obviously. It's just like actors and, kind of like a haunted house kind of thing.
Still braver than I am.
He's making money.
Yeah, that's true.
That helps.
All right, and that's it for Pops. Thanks for listening, guys. Remember to follow us on Twitter at The Pops Show and like us on Facebook. You can find all of our information, show notes are available at thepopshow.wordpress.com. And see you guys in 2 weeks. Bye.